Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to A Queen's Roundtable Show. I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and we have another entrepreneur with us today that is going to give us a lot of good information. So, this is your financial segment. Okay, so get ready, take some notes because I know that is something that is extremely, extremely important in our personal lives as well as our professional life. So again, I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and you have joined us for A Queen's Roundtable Show, which happens every second and fourth Sunday of the month. I bring on a different entrepreneur, and we just talk openly and honestly about entrepreneurship, and we talk about how we have managed, right, to ride the waves, so to speak. And we always end on a note of inspiration and a note of education, basically giving you tools and tips to be able to scale your business. So without further ado, I'm going to let my special guest introduce herself and tell you a little bit about who she is, who she serves, and how she serves them.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest, Jacqueline. I really do appreciate it. My name is Annette Campbell. I am CEO and founder of the Tax Experience, which is a business geared to help with tax preparation for individuals and business owners. And I am also a financial empowerment coach slash motivational speaker. So I like to do a lot of financial seminars and to speak to people about the importance of being financially empowered. And I am 29 years old from Rochester, New York. I have been on my entrepreneurship journey for a while now. I went to school, went to college, and did everything that kind of society tells you to do. But, I landed into the journey of entrepreneurship, and I'm so excited to tell you guys more about my journey.
Yes, thank you, thank you. And I'm so honored and excited to have you here. This is definitely an area that I know I am very interested in and going to be taking a lot of notes as much as I can. So, ladies, go ahead and get your pen and your pads because I'm pretty sure you're going to want to take notes as well. So, tell us a little bit more about that journey. How did you get to this place today with having your own financial business?
Yes. So my journey kind of started in high school. I actually went to the School of Business Finance and Entrepreneurship at Edison Tech, and that kind of led me to study business in college. So I went to school, ended up studying business administration, and I minored in accounting as well. So I landed my job. I was working at a really good job in banking, and I thought that that was going to be my career. I thought that I was going to retire from there. And then life happens. Lost my job. And due to that, it was a domino effect of not being able to stay in my apartment and not being able to sign the lease to my vehicle. And I hit a very hard rock bottom very fast because I wasn't in this space that I should have been financially. No one never thinks about losing a job until it actually happens, and it happened to me. And I didn't have that emergency savings fund. I was kind of in a cycle of working and working paycheck to paycheck, and not really, if something like that happened, I didn't have a backup plan. So for me, hitting that rock bottom and kind of losing everything that I had worked so hard for was um a very devastating moment in my life, and I had to make some changes very quickly. And those are things, financial literacy. I had to kind of look my own self in the mirror and say, okay, if you want to do things differently, if you want a different life for yourself, then you're going to have to do things differently. And in the process of that, I also had got introduced to my first business, which was an energy franchise. So, and before that happened, I had got introduced to wealth. I got introduced to millionaires. I got introduced to people that were living a life that I'm just like, I thought that was impossible. I thought that the life that I was living, what society would, the people that were around me kind of told me that's what I should be doing in my life. I thought that was it. I didn't think that there wasn't a life not worthy of having to struggle or having to be kind of stuck in the cycle of like working to pay bills and getting debt and things like that. So when I lost everything, it was very devastating for me, but I wouldn't change it for the world because it kind of put a fire underneath me, and it made me understand the importance of financial literacy and made me gain a very strong sense of purpose and passion to help other people not have to go through what I had to go through. Because it's just losing everything all at once. I went from driving a brand new car to walking and getting on the bus again to, not really having family really help you when you're in that type of situation. So I think that led me to the creation of my business. So kind of fast forward, I was able to kind of rebuild my life over again, and I landed another job. And because at one point I had to lost my job, I was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I don't want to work for anybody else. But at the time it wasn't realistic, because you need to have income coming in. You can't just say I'm gonna try to build and try to repair those pieces in your financial life without having a solid foundation first. So I had to kind of suck it up and say, okay, Annette, you're going to go back to a job. But I always told myself that this was temporary. I didn't want to get stuck in that cycle again. So I was able to get a new car. It's just, something to get me from point A to point B. And I was able to get an apartment, and I landed a good job at Department of Education. So at that point, I was able to kind of rebuild my life. But from that moment, I was just, studying, because as I said, I went to college for business and accounting. So I started to develop programs, and I got into taxes in the middle of that. I've been doing taxes for about 7 years now. And I started off with doing taxes for my family and friends. And my friends, she was like, you should really do this and that. And I was like, well, I don't know. So I was like, well, if I am, let me at least go work for actual companies. So I was able to work at TurboTax, and I actually worked at H&R Block. And I was number one in the district my first year working there. I pretty much wanted to actually kind of to invest into my craft that I already had. So I was able, in the middle of me losing everything and kind of rebuilding my structure again, I had the opportunity, I had the time to actually work there full time and just soak all the knowledge in to kind of see what they do to kind of build my own empire. And at the same time, I just kind of had that connection, like, I don't want to do this for another company. Like, I really want to help my community soar financially. And I could just if I'm doing it for them, I could do it for me as well. And it took me 3 years to do it, but I finally took my leap of faith, which was last year. So heading into 2020 tax year, 2019, I launched my tax business officially. I was still working full time at the time, because you have to be smart as an entrepreneur. You have to, like I say before, you have to make sure you have that solid foundation. And I built my business. I worked full time. I did taxes virtually, and I met people at their homes, or I had clients come to my home if I felt comfortable enough, or I would meet them at public places. And I ended my tax season with 150 clients my first year. When people were telling me I'll be lucky to get 25 to 50 clients my first tax season, but I have that spirit about me that don't tell me what I can't do. And everybody should have that spirit. Like, don't never let anyone tell you what you cannot do, because I was determined. I knew what I had to do to actually build my business and to make it successful. So after that let me know, like, wow, Annette, you're onto something, and you need to push forward. Because at the time I was working at Department of Education, and mind you, you guys, I ran my business without my cell phone. And if you can imagine how tax season is, it's crazy, it's hectic. Everybody's trying to get their taxes done. So that's why I say no excuses, because I did this at Department of Education. It's a federal building. Due to sensitive information, you cannot have your cell phones in the building. So I was working 10, 12-hour shifts without my cell phone. I almost lost my job 3 times that year because I was going over my break time. My anxiety level was out of control. I was going over my break time, trying to respond to clients, trying to respond to emails. But I'm so grateful that all my clients were patient with me, because I was working, and it was times where at the time my job was at least 45 minutes to an hour away from where I lived. So I was driving back and forth every single day. And I used to come home at night. I'm tired, but I used to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning doing taxes, getting right back up and going to my job. But I told myself, like, that was my last year. Like, I told myself the next tax season, I could not do it. It was just too stressful. I said, in order for me to really grow and scale my business, I had to take this leap. So mentally in my head, I planned to quit my job September 2020. So January 1 of 2020, I told myself that was my last year working. I had no idea that the coronavirus was coming. So the coronavirus came, and obviously, as you guys all seen, that student loans were deferred. I got laid off. I lost my job again. So this is me happening again. But this time I knew that God had prepared me this time. I had my business. I was in a better space financially. Um, so I took my leap of faith. I told myself I was not going back to a job after I got laid off. I always told myself that that job was my last job anyways. So I was, that whole summer of 2020, I make sure I was invested in myself. I invested into my business developer. I invested to expand my tax business because my next step was expansion for me, to get my office space, to figure out what I need to do to make sure that I am successful, and to make sure I never have to depend on a job ever again. And that was my ultimate goal anyway. So I want to kind of bring you guys through the whole story, then we can go. I know you will go back and dissect it a little bit, Jacqueline. But so I walked my faith walk all 2020. And let me tell you, it came to December. So you guys, mentally in my head, I was praying, I was being faithful, I was making out my plan. I had to stay positive because even everybody, my family was wondering, like, Annette, what are you going to do? Like, what are you doing? Like, you need to go find another job. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not finding another job. Like, this is my dream. This is what I know God put me here on this earth to help people financially. And I have to do this in order to fulfill that passion, that purpose of mine. And sometimes, things happen. The pandemic was a very devastating. It affected everybody. We all were affected by it some way, shape, or form or fashion. But I took that as that was a blessing in disguise for me, because mind you, I told myself I was quitting my job in September 2020. I think God was like, nope, now is your time. You need to start preparing for what I'm about to do in your life. So I planned, I manifested, and I walked my faith walk. So December was, you guys, this is how challenges and things will test your faith, will come when you're on your entrepreneurship journey. And I think this is an important part of my story because it's so dynamic. December, we're almost there. We're at tax season. I had this overwhelming feeling of just, I have to do this. Like, I have to stay positive. I have to stay focused. I have to stay faithful to my journey and my process. And everything went wrong in December. I'm like, Lord, you done brought me to December. You done got me through this whole pandemic. Like, and now everything just kind of fell apart. So I'm 11 days away from my grand opening, you guys. I had my grand opening to my office space, and I had a contract that I had with an organization. The budgeting, they messed up their budget, so they couldn't pay me. They had to wait until the new year to pay me. So I'm panicking because I needed that money to help me finish furnishing my office, getting things that I needed for my grand opening, and get things ready for this tax season. As we all knew, it was going to be a crazy, hectic tax season just because of everything that went on last year. So when that happened, I would just start panicking. You guys, it was a moment that I felt like, if this tax business did not take off, I felt like I was going to be homeless. I literally sacrificed everything in the month of December. When that organization told me that they couldn't help me, I literally did not pay any of my bills. I know it sounds crazy, but I at that point, I just believed in my dream so much. And I believed in this vision of my tax business that I was willing to sacrifice, willing to take those risks to make sure that this happens. At least I could say I gave it all I had. So that same day, so a week, I was crying. I was mentally, in my mind, I was fighting myself. I was trying to stay positive, trying to stay focused. I said, Annette, you cannot let this distraction or this bump in the journey kind of knock you off your track. Like, God would not have led you this far to let you down. You have to keep your faith. But I was just like, man, like I'm just giving it everything I got right now. Like I poured everything into, I'm telling you, I was down to my last penny, investing into my business, investing into everything that I need to do to launch my business successfully. So that same day, I had to get my keys to my office. Almost didn't get my keys to my office. And I said, Annette, you have to get your keys to your office. You have to start moving your stuff into this office. You're 2 weeks away from your grand opening. And I prayed about it. One of my friends was going to help me. They couldn't help me anymore. It was Christmas time. A lot of people spent their money on Christmas presents. And he said he couldn't help me. So I was just like, I was so disappointed again, but I was just crying. I was praying. I looked at my vision board. I had a vision board party December 5th. And I was looking at my vision board and I kept telling myself all 2020 that my life is going to change financially in tax season 2021 is going to change my life financially. I put all my goals. I'm praying. I'm looking over my vision board and I was so faithful to the journey. Like I believed it before it even happened. And I left my house to come to my office and my car breaks down. My car breaks down. I'm like, Lord, this is not what the miracle that I just prayed for. Like my car is not supposed to break down right now. I'm 11 days away from my grand opening. I need my car. So like I said before, I didn't make none of my bills. I didn't make my car payment, nothing. So I'm panicking again because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like why is my car not working? I have a newer car and I have gas, oil, everything. Nothing's wrong with my car. No lights are on. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm in the middle of the expressway. So people are passing me by. They're beeping at me. They're like, girl, what? Like, they're probably like, what are you doing? And I'm like, my car won't turn on. Like I'm calling my dealership. Well, the bank at the time, the bank where I had to make my car payments to. I'm like, did you guys turn my car off? Like, I know I have to have a car payment. I know I have to pay you guys. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just in a situation right now. Like, I promise I'm going to pay you. I've never been late. Like, after I got my life together financially, I've never been like, I'm really big on making my payments on time. And there's like, no, Miss Campbell, we can't do that. And I'm like, okay. So this guy, he comes and he says, hey man, do you need some help? And I'm like, I don't know. Like my car won't turn back on. And he says, well, I said, I think I know why I didn't make my car payment. He was like looking at me too, like, I don't think it works like that. He's like, but I need to get you to the side of the road because you're in a very dangerous spot. And I said, okay. So we were finally able to get my car into neutral. He gets me over to the side of the road. He comes back, he hands me $250. Now, mind you guys, like I just started crying because I'm just like, thank you, sir. Like, you don't even understand. I started telling him, I said, I'm 11 days away from my grand opening. I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I said, I got laid off due to COVID. I said, I have a tax business. And I said, I'm in a strange predicament right now. And he told me, so he looks at me and he's like, I'm an entrepreneur too. He's like, I'm actually a multimillionaire. Mind you, I looked at him and I wish I could show you guys, but that same day I had put a vision board magazine cover I posted it on my Facebook page and it said my affirmations and it said I'm going to be a millionaire in 2021. And that same day I ran into a multimillionaire. I run into the space and energy of a multimillionaire. Mind you, I was just manifesting all of this that same day. And how do I run into the vicinity of a multimillionaire? So I'm looking at him. I'm just continue crying because I'm just like, sir, like you don't even understand. I just posted this today. And he just looked at, he's like, let me tell you something. He said, I've been where you are. He said, I lost everything before. He's like, but I worked my butt off to get to where I'm at. He said, you cannot give up. You have to keep going. And he's like, you're going to be very successful. He was like, this is what entrepreneurship is about. And I'm just looking at him and just like, wow, that was the miracle that I just asked God for. Because at that moment, I was under a lot of stress and like a lot of pressure leading up to this. I'm giving this all I got. Like, I'm like, people are watching me. I'm documenting my journey. I've built my business very publicly and I've been very transparent about my journey to let people understand, like, I once was who I'm trying to help, and to understand that, to let people know that their dreams are still possible. And I'm telling you, that moment for me was just amazing. So he told me, he's like, I'm going to help you. He's like, I can give you a lot of advice. He's like, I've made $40 million last year. And he's like, I'm not telling you this to just say it. I'm telling you this to just give you that boost, that motivation to help you keep going because you're almost there. You're almost at the finish line. And I just was just in so much awe and so much thankfulness. And he was like, well, what are you going to do about your car? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm at the car tow company. And I was like, well, let me try my car one more time. And let me tell you, my car turned back on. You can't tell me that was a God. That was that miracle that I just asked for. And we both looked at each other again. And he was like, whoa. He was like, God stopped your car for a reason. You needed to meet me. You needed to fall into the vicinity. And God, I literally just prayed for that before leaving my house. 5 minutes, my car breaks down. And I think that I had to share that because after that, it was like a sense of relief. And I walked into the most beautiful moment of my life. And it's making me emotional because God said that he was going to bless my life in abundance. He said that if you are faithful, he will deliver his promises to me. And he delivered his promise to me. From that moment, I was, I had won a PR package. I was on the news, the radio. I had a billboard. And let me tell you, like, God blessed my business. I was negative $1,000 in my bank account, December 31st, 2020. And let me tell you, God blessed made me a 6-figure business. Like, and I'm just so blessed and thankful. And that's what happens when you believe in yourself, when you walk in purpose, when you walk in faith, and when you are determined and you won't let anything stop you. So I kind of wanted it. That's literally my journey. And now I'm a full-time. I told myself last year that I was coming out of this pandemic a full-time entrepreneur. And now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I don't have no more finance. Like I really am. It's financial freedom is really is a reality for me. And this is a 3-year journey of never giving up. 3 years ago, I lost everything. And if tell my journey and my story. If I can do it, anybody can do it. If God can do it for me in my life, he can do it for you in your life. But you have to want it. How bad do you really want it? I put that on my whiteboard, like Annette, like how bad do you really want it? And I always was so thankful. And I already seen it before it happened. I seen this before it happened, even though in the middle of it, you're just like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? But I think it's just a beautiful moment. I think it's just absolutely amazing and beautiful. So it's just like you guys are catching me at this is like my celebration. Like I'm entering the season of rest. I worked my butt off. I had client after client after client after client come and support me this tax season and to just make sure that I am sustained. And it's just, I'm telling you, so just blessed is an understatement.
Ooh, I mean, that is a very, very powerful story. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, maintain myself. But this is I'm so thankful for Ebony for sending you my way and just being able to tell the story. And this is a part of what this show is about. Everybody is sharing the ups and the downs, but to really give people to give people hope. Because there's women out there that are just sitting there like, wow, what, like what am I doing? What is, maybe I'm gonna give up. Maybe this is the last day. That I'm, just go ahead and get that job or stick with that job and just go somewhere and just, call it a day. You know what I mean? But hearing stories like this is so inspirational, and it just goes to show you the power of thought and what it really means when you truly believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You believed in yourself. Had a strong connection with, with God and just, it's possible. It is possible. You have to be determined. You know what I mean? You got to work for it. It's not going to just be handed to you. But long as you work for it, you maintain consistency and you maintain that belief. Wow, that is such a powerful story. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that
I
today.
know I'm telling you, it's just like the tax experience. Like I see the business. And let me just to give you a little background, the name of the business, it took me a while to get the name, to come up with the name of the business, but because I knew the vision, right? When you're building a business, you have to see the vision. I manifested this moment even at a moment of my life where I was sleeping on the floor, right? I wrote it down in my book, and to see it just come to life is just absolutely amazing. But I seen the vision of where I want my business to head 10 years down the line. So that's the tax experience. It comes from, I'm just not another tax business or some of these huge companies that is just an in and out. Like they just want you in and out. They're not explaining to you. They're not educating you. They're not helping you push to a better space in your life. And that's why I feel like my business is a tax experience, because when my clients come in and they meet with me, we're doing more than just taxes. Like I have these conversations, I build relationships and connections, and I figure out what they want out of life. I figure out their goals, their dreams, and I try to figure out if I could be the connecting pieces to help them get to where they are. And I think that is what matters the most, right? I'm not just another business that's just here to make money. I'm here to make an impact in people's lives. And I feel like that's the tax experience. It's just more than just doing taxes. It's like an overall just experience of just elevating financially. And I see the business just exploding and just expanding more and more and more. I didn't want it to be very personalized. There's a lot of, like, nothing against, businesses who are use their names and things like that. I didn't want that, because I just knew like the vision of what it could be. And it's just to see it, just it's like my business, we feel that way about our business. Our businesses are our babies. Like I feel like my baby has bloomed, and it's just like it's been a journey of just never giving up, and to just be resilient, to be determined, to be focused, and to execute your vision, because I definitely executed my vision of what I wanted this business to be. And like you said, it's a journey, and there's going to be things that you have to sacrifice, things that you have to let go of. You have to evolve, you have to change, you have to grow into a whole nother person to get to unlock your destiny. And when you are unlocking your destiny, you get to, when I feel like God is unlocking my destiny, but me being able to tell my journey and is unlocking other people's destinies. Like you said, I had so many people who reached out to me who say, wow, Annette, like you give me hope. Like I was ready to give up, but hearing you say that and what you've been through, because a lot of people, they never want to tell, they always, you hear about it once they hit the success, right? You never hear about their journey. And I feel like that was so important to me. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not here to judge. And especially when it comes to finance, people have to trust you. I have strangers. I think 4 family members came to me. I have 400 clients, strangers who trust me with their finances. That's dynamic. That's powerful. And that says that I'm on the right track. And the way that I'm branding and marketing myself really is truly what's helping me set myself apart to grow and scale my business. So I think it's just absolutely beautiful.
It is. You know what? It's so interesting that you mentioned about I have 4 family members that support you, because I know a lot of times I hear this over and over again. I know felt the same way, that when I started, that my friends and my family would be like right there, in my corner. They would be participating, or maybe referring people to me, But and I'm not saying anything against family or anything like that, but don't necessarily expect that. You know what I mean? Because the people that I've worked with have been total strangers, people that I don't even know. I've never even met them, but maybe they've been following me online for a few years or a year, and we've become connected, and they have been my best supporters. So when you said that, it made me think about that. So this is what I want to ask, because one of the questions I typically ask is, what sort of obstacles did you overcome? But you shared that. And and I wanted to piggyback on that by saying that that's part of this show, is that especially in the whole era of social media, everyone takes like a snapshot of the end picture, or they take snapshots of all the happy moments of their life, not just in business, but in their life in general. That's why I think it's so important to let people know, just like the realism of it. You know what I mean? Like this individual, like we look at, I always like, for some reason, Lisa Nichols always comes to mind. But, we see this finished picture, this person making the 7 figures, and, they always on vacation, and, just all of that, and but people a lot of times don't really talk about where they came from, or even just the everyday ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can still be a successful business owner and not have it all together. Everything is not always perfect. Everything doesn't always turn out the way you want it to. There are struggles. There are times that people tell you no, and you got to deal with it, or you know what I mean? It's not. It's a journey, and that's part of what I wanted with this show, and what I wanted people to be able to see, that yeah, she's making six figures now. She just bought, she just laid down money, bought a nice vehicle of her choice. She closed on a home, but who knows, 3 years prior to that, she might have been homeless. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be that drastic. It could just be maybe 3 years prior to that, she didn't even believe she could own her own business and could be financially secured or stable. You know what I mean? But it's a mindset shift,
Yes.
and that's what I want to walk women through. And that's why you and your story is such a blessing, to be able to come, and I appreciate you sharing, and your honesty and just being open with us. So this is what I was going to ask. How about your family? I'm curious to know, is there like a history of entrepreneurs in your family? That's number one. And then number two, how did those the immediate family, like your mom, your dad, siblings, boyfriends, those people in your immediate circle, what was their response throughout this process?
Good question. um, so to give you a background on me even further, so I grew up in foster care. So I'm also like beating so many different generational curses. I'm considered a statistic, right? Statistics, 12% chance at succeeding. I'm literally beating the odds. So my mom suffered from drug addiction. I don't know who my dad is. My mom is I call them my angels. I had three foster parents. They were nuns. Two of them have passed. I have one left. And just amazing, just beautiful people who dedicate their lives to taking care of children coming from drug addicted households or just any other underlying conditions. And they raised me from birth to 5 years old. And my mom did get her life together. She's 27 years clean. I'm very proud of my mom. And we did go back home, my mom. But obviously, you could understand that it was a struggle, right? Because my grandma, it's literally a generational curse. Is my grandma introduced my mom to drugs. So it was like a domino effect of like this history kind of repeating itself. And so no, didn't come from background of entrepreneurs. I think I'm like one of the first in my family, in my entire family, to even be an entrepreneur, a very successful one at that. So my family in the beginning, they weren't supportive. Kind of still is kind of shaky too, still. But I think it's because it's not really their fault, right? So it's like because at one point they were like kind of telling me like, you need to go back to college, and I like, what are you doing? Like, but I just knew that wasn't what I was supposed to do with my life. Like society kind of just tell you that this is just one way to be successful. Like just imagine if we did come from a background of entrepreneurship, things might be a little bit different. They might look at you a little different. The support might be a little bit different. Like nobody was really, I'm very highly motivated. And let me tell you, sometimes I know it's a lot of entrepreneurs who go through that, like it hurts them, and it definitely did hurt me. Like I wish, like a lot of people always ask me that too, like, do you have a very strong support system of like family? And I'm like, no, not necessarily like to the extent that I would want them to be, but sometimes it's not meant, they don't understand, like, sometimes I don't know, but it's just like I always tell our families of entrepreneurs, support them. It matters. It pushes them, it just so to kind of answer your question. But I think now that they see, like my brother, one of my brothers, he's in the Marines. He's always been like very supportive of me. My mom's very proud of me. But I think that is a family dynamic. I feel like in our community, our families need to be, if you see that one person that is striving, who's trying to do better, who's trying to do something different with their lives to set everybody free, it needs to be more of a push. And I don't understand why it doesn't happen like that in our communities. Maybe it happens in other communities too as well. But no. And I think that sometimes, you kind of, I've developed another family. I developed a lot of mentors. I developed a newfound like circle of people who understand me, people who are entrepreneurs, people who get it, people who can pour into me. So I'm so grateful for all of them who have entered in my life too as well, because sometimes, You know, a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck going to family and friends, and they're not going to understand if they're not from entrepreneurship. They don't have that willingness or desire to want more for their lives. They might distract you or discourage you. You have to get away from them, and you have to find your tribe of people who support for you, who root for you, who's going to show up for everything, and stay connected and close to those. Because I'm a very like um I don't know what happened.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. But yeah, for some reason you went out for a second, but I can hear you now. Oh no, now I can't hear you. What happened? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. For some reason your volume is out. I said, no, that's so weird. I know you're not muted. Mm, I don't want to turn. That is so bizarre. I don't want to turn on the actual recording. You know what? I wonder is it just me on my end? You know what? Here, let me turn this up. And I want you to say something. Let me see if I can hear you while it's playing live. I wonder is it just me on my end? You know what? Here, let me turn this up. And I want you to say something. Let me see if I can hear you while it's playing live. Mm-mm. Did you say something else? Hmm. Did you say something else? That is really weird. I don't know what happened. How did we just lose sound? Because you're not muted. Let me hold on. Let me mess with mine and see what happens. Wait a minute. Somebody's sending me a comment. Let me see if she can hear us. Because your mic wasn't muted. I didn't mute anything. I just muted it and then unmuted it to see if that would make a difference. Technology. I'm going to look at the young lady's comment to see. Oh, I can't even see the comment. Okay. I don't know if we should go out and maybe come back in. Okay, try that. Technology. Sometimes it works. When it works, it's great, and when it doesn't, it's not so good. I swear I didn't do it. She was just talking. All of a sudden, it just went out. So she went out. She's gonna try to come back in, and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I don't know what
It's
happened.
so weird. Wow. Okay. Well, sorry about that, ladies. Okay, so now what we were talking about, I had asked you about family and those in your immediate circle, and you said that basically you found your tribe.
Yes.
You found mentors and people that would support you that you could talk to.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I have a good tribe of people that I can talk to that understand entrepreneurship journey, understand what I'm trying to build, to continue to just pour into me, you know, to make sure I'm okay, to make sure that I continue to fulfill my purpose and to continue to push forward my goals and my dreams that I have for my life. So I say to just stay connected to those people. Your family is your family. Sometimes you got to kind of put people in boxes.
Yeah.
You got to separate people to not let them emotionally pull on you, because if you let that really bother you, because I was at a place in the beginning of my entrepreneurship journey, I'm just like, dang, like, why are you guys not supporting me and things like that? And it will pull on you, it will drain you emotionally, and sometimes it can still creep up and pull on you emotionally too, especially like now, like for me, like I'm like just everybody knows who Annette Campbell is and her journey and everything that she has accomplished. And sometimes like you wish your family was the first ones commenting and sharing and liking and all those things like that. But it's just like you can't let that bother you. Focus on the people who do support you, who love you, who root for you, who push you. And everything else will just align and fall into place the way it's supposed to.
I agree. That's something common that comes up all the time. And that's my story too. I expected to get a lot of support and everything from family. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I didn't get any support,
Right.
but at at sometimes it was like quite the opposite. But what really made the difference for me was actually aligning with other women, like women that were moms as well as entrepreneurs. That really made the big difference for me. Actually being able to connect with people that like are like-minded, that are really trying, that are working a full-time job, have a child or children, and they want that business. They want, you know what I mean, that they're willing, like you said, sit up to 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been up a lot of times, pulled a lot of late nights, trying to get stuff together for the business and have to get up in a few hours to get ready to go to work. So we cannot stress enough how important that is to find your tribe. And really, y'all, it's no excuse. It's no excuse because with Facebook, and I'm just throwing Facebook out there because that's where I started. There are so many different groups. I don't care what your craft is, what your business is, what's important to you. There's a group for it. So that might be a good place to start if you're needing that support. Okay, well, we all need support, and
Yes.
even if you have good support in your family and friends, this is additional support. So I definitely recommend it for everybody.
Yes.
So I
People that
wanted
can
to,
take you,
oh,
sorry. No,
go ahead.
people that can definitely take you to the next level as well. Because you just don't want any type of support. I
Yeah.
mean, any type of people just around you. Because,
Mhm.
you want assets, not liabilities. Because people will try to attach themselves to you and they're just sucking the life out of you and they're not able to pour back into that cup. So make sure you have good quality people who motivate and inspire you. I always kept people who inspire me around me, because that helps me go higher and farther. People that challenge you, people that hold you accountable. Those people are very important.
Yep. Yep. Somebody that's going to inspire you and uplift you. You
Yeah.
know, so with individuals that are where you want to be,
Yep.
so and individuals that are positive and are about self-development, personal development, professional development. They're always moving, they're always shaking, they're always doing something, and something positive towards their end goal. Those are the types of people that you want to surround yourself with, because the thing of it is, I remember my mom used to always say, birds of a feather flock together. And at the time I was like, oh, mom, what are you talking about? But now I completely understand that. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It makes total sense. If you go in here, then how you hanging with these people over here that ain't, not doing nothing? And I'm not saying, to each its own. You know what I mean? No judgment. But the thing of it is, it's only smart and it makes sense to hang around those individuals that are like-minded.
Absolutely.
So I want to, so we want to stress that um to you all.
Yes. Because
So
just to add one more thing too, because at one point in my life, I was separated from all of my friends. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, dang, am I a bad friend? Separated in order to be elevated is so true. Like,
mm,
you have to outgrow. And if you're not outgrowing the people, like, yes, you might have a few people. Like, I still have my best friend. She's been my best friend since we were in middle school. Like, you will have those people that you will keep, but like a lot of you in order to grow and evolve and change, you're gonna grow in it and meet new people. So a lot of people, they don't want to let go of those. They just think like, oh, no new friends. What? No, you need new people. You want to experience and connect with new people. And so yes, definitely get rid of those people that is not trying to do anything in their lives, and it's going to be lonely. The entrepreneurship is lonely. You're going to be having times where you're just like, I'm with, I'm telling you, it happened to me. I'm like, what is going on? But God has bigger plans for you in your life, and He gonna put the right people that's supposed to be in your life, right in the right timing as well.
That's right. So, looking at the time, so talk to us a little bit about your topic in terms of being financially, and here I can't remember it again, but being financially
Empowered.
empowered. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So as you guys heard, my journey is really a journey of telling people out the importance of taking care of your finances for one. I do, outside of taxes, I do accounting for business owners, and I also do personal money management. I have a lot of things that's getting ready to release soon around that. But definitely make sure, these are three things that I always tell, get to the root of why you have your money issues, because that's what I had to do. I look at, because some of those things are like, you learn them from somewhere, right? So it could be from family, or maybe we all heard that term, money is the root of all evil. No, the lack of money is, and the lack of how to manage and control your money is. So making sure that you get connected with someone who is, it could be someone like me, a financial literacy coach. I mean, I'm a tax accountant. So getting connected with someone who can help you with your finances, and just don't ignore those. Budgeting should be your best friend. I think everyone has to start. All my clients, we all go through budgeting. That's one of the biggest things that holds a lot of people back in their financial journey. And I feel like that's step one, is understanding what you make and how much are your expenses, and figuring out if you're in a deficit or not. A lot of people have a lot of money to do a lot of different things, but they don't track it. They just spend, swipe, and they don't understand. So that is like one of the biggest things, is to monitor your tracking and your spending, making sure that you are paying your bills on time. Also fixing your credit, that's a big thing that holds a lot of people back. I have a lot of things that's coming out in regards to credit, but the first thing is dispute. Go through actually pull your credit report. I don't know if you guys know, you can actually pull your credit report free from all three credit bureaus, from freecreditreport.com. If you pay in any of these sites, do not pay those sites. You can pull your credit report for free, figuring out what's on there, figure out what's actually is supposed to be yours, and dispute anything else that's not, and then get on a plan to understanding how to actually repair your credit, and to figure out a plan of action from there. And then you can move on to debt management, and then investing in yourself. Now is the time. If coronavirus didn't teach us anything else, you need to have more than one source of income. That is so important, you guys. Look how many people lost their jobs, including me. Millions of people did. And what happened? Some of these jobs never are going to come back again. So what are you going to do? If this is to happen, again, or who knows, it might not be in a pandemic setting. It might be in something else, but you have to stay ready. You have to stay prepared. Making sure that you are saving your money, you guys. There was a lot of money that got released to us from the government last year. Saving your money, making sure that you have that emergency savings plan is going to be key. And making sure, as if you're an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs are my niche area, who I like to service the most, because my goal is to help create millionaires and billionaires, to help people build sustainable, profitable businesses, is to definitely keep track of your income and expenses as a business owner. Make sure you're filing your taxes. Make sure that you are in compliance, because look at all the funding and things that went on last year that a lot of us couldn't get because we were not keeping track of our income and expenses. We weren't doing the accounting pieces to our business. So that is super, super important, to make sure that you are doing bookkeeping. I do bookkeeping for my clients, making sure that you're doing bookkeeping, making sure that you understand your profit margins, making sure that you understand your numbers. As a business owner is so important. And coming up with a strategy and a plan, that is super important as well. So those are some of my tips. If you follow me on social media, I post all the time on my Facebook business page, which is the Tax Experience. And then I have Instagram, which is _success with Annette, which I post a lot of budgeting tips, wealth tips, business tips on the daily basis. And then if you guys obviously need anything more, you guys can check out my website, taxexperience.com, and shoot me an email or book an appointment with me.
Awesome. And I know we're connected on Facebook, but I don't think I'm connected to the Tax Experience. That's a business page, right?
Yes.
I don't think I'm connected with that. I have to get connected with you. So get connected with her, everybody. And even if, you may not use their services now. You never know. You may need them in the future.
Yeah. Or just to be inspired and motivated, because I always put a lot of informational things on my page, inspiring things on my page. If anything, you're going to learn something from me or be inspired. So it's a win-win, right?
Yep, absolutely. So let me ask you this. How do you practice good self-care? I mean, I know you work a lot, so how do you ensure that you practice good self-care, and what does self-care mean to you?
Self-care is so important. And that's something that as entrepreneurs, we tend to neglect. And we have to make it a priority. So for me, especially tax season is a very overwhelming, hectic season. You're working, you're processing, I'm looking at numbers, I'm analyzing numbers, I'm strategizing, I'm dealing with a lot of clients. It's a lot. It's like a high volume at one time. So for me, what I did this season is at least I tried to the best of my ability, because I'm just bad at it as well. But I did do my self-care Mondays. So I worked, my hours were Tuesday through Sunday, and just for tax season purposes only, because I know a lot of people are off on the weekends. So on Mondays, I would do a facial massage, mandatory. Like I had it booked, and I made sure I take care of me on Mondays. And I try not to respond to any emails, anything in relation to business. It was very hard for me to do that, but I tried my best. But as long as I was at least getting my massage or facial every Monday, or every other Monday, or just having a moment to breathe, just peace, even if it's a bubble bath, if it's just getting some wine or cooking for yourself. I think those things are very important, because we have to take care of us. If we are not well, we cannot show up as our best for our clients or our businesses or our family or our friends or our children. So self-care is definitely important.
And I always like to say, make sure that you rejuvenate what's on the inside, because I think a lot of women, when they think about self-care, they think about things on the outside. We're going to get your hair done or getting your nails done or a spa day, and I think those things are awesome. And we need to do those more often. But also, I try to encourage women to look at some of those things that replenish us on the inside. You know what I mean? Even if it's, I don't know, even if it's a Netflix day or half a day, sometimes we can't give a whole day, but, a half a day, or, some sort of activity that you just get lost in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's almost like time stands still,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Think about, because some of us don't even know what those things are for us.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, in your quiet time, think about it, or as you're doing it, or when it comes up, note it and say, okay, I'm going to do more of that. And it's okay not to know, because I know sometimes we get so busy, and especially like if we're mothers, we're working full time, we have our business, sometimes it's easy to put our needs on the back burner. But what I'm telling you is that don't put your needs on the back burner, because what's going to happen is you're not going to have anything to give to yourself, much less to anybody else, much less to a business for that matter. So be mindful of that, and let that be your assignment. If you don't know what fully replenishes you, work on it, think about it, and make sure you do it regularly. And I don't mean, oh, I'll get to it, or maybe this. I mean, literally schedule it. That's what I do. I schedule it.
Yes.
So I want you guys to be mindful of that. And I always like to ask my guests that, because I want women to be aware of that, and pay attention to yourself, and listen to
Yes.
yourself, right? Because I just read a post, I think just before we went on, is that you may not think it's time to take a break, but your body will tell you when it's time to take a break.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yes. You will
So
get into that burnout. And I felt that's why I said I'm entering a season of rest, because even for myself, I felt myself heading into a burnout, because it was one of the second most craziest tax season ever this year. On top of me opening up the space, the top of me dealing with, like, it was so much pressure on me. So I'm grateful for the season of rest that I've been blessed with, that I can actually rest. I don't have to worry. Like, I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, like what I'm going to do because I need to pay my bills. So, and I just been able to just rest and just flow. Like that's just a beautiful feeling. I've been going on walks, just reflecting and just being, and just, pouring back into me, because I've poured out a lot this whole season to all my clients and people that I was working with. So you're absolutely right. So ladies, I hope you're listening.
Yes, I hope so too, ladies. If I mean, this is a good episode. If you just jumped in, didn't catch it from the beginning, make sure you definitely go back and check out the replay. And I'll tell you all more about where you can find us once we conclude everything. But now, is there any upcoming? Well, you know what? Before we go to that, before we go into, I want you to be very clear again and tell them where they can find you. And I don't know if you have any. I mean, I know tax, like you said, tax season's coming to an end. But do you have any financial literacy classes or anything like that coming up that I want you to talk about that? But the last thing I want you to address is what advice would you give to a younger version of yourself?
A younger version of myself, I would say it was a quote that I just went to a brunch, and it says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And I want everybody to understand that you are, and we all have our gifts, our skills, our passions that can push us to our destiny. And I would tell my younger self, never give up. Never give up on you. Never give up on your dreams, your goals. You have what it takes to be everything you're supposed to be. And you can do it. I would definitely just cheer my younger self on, because I think that there's not a lot of people who are being poured into or being cheered for and being supported, or understand that their dreams are possible. Like my dreams are possible. Like 3 years ago, I knew I manifested this moment right that I'm experiencing right now, but to just understand that I can do it, it just was another hurdle to overcome, and then just to see. So I definitely tell myself, my younger self, never give up. Keep going, keep pushing, keep learning, and keep being determined, and persevere through every single thing, because there's always going to be things in life that's going to happen, that's going to try to take us off our tracks, but you can't let it. You really can't let it. And I'm living proof of, I had so many obstacles, from family to jobs to everything you could think of, friends. Every obstacle I had to overcome. So, and look where I am today.
Even things we didn't know, stuff we didn't even know about, know that can happen, what happened, but just to keep going, keep going. Wow, this has been so inspiring for me. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And and you're for the most part a pretty young entrepreneur, which is awesome. That you recognize this in yourself, earlier, and not is to say you can't do it at any age, because you can. It's never too late. But just the fact that you recognize this early on and didn't, continue to go on based on what other people and what society tells us, which is go to school, get a good education, and get a good job, but you knew inside of you that it was more, and that, you had a purpose and you were going to walk in that purpose, and you were doing it, and it's paying off, and it will continue to pay off.
Yes.
Wow, that's wonderful. So do you have any upcoming financial literacy workshops or anything like that happening?
So I'm in a season of planning. So I have a lot of things coming. I have some courses some financial literacy courses that's going to be getting ready to release soon. I also have so yeah, a lot of financial literacy courses, digital courses. So I would just say to stay connected with me. Like I said, I'm in my season of rest right now, but I'm going to have a lot of things getting ready to come, especially for business owners. Like I'm getting ready to put some packages together for maybe the new entrepreneur, the seasoned entrepreneur, and someone who just needs a lot of support financially to help take their businesses to the next level financially. So definitely just stay connected with me, again, my Facebook is The Tax Experience. You can also find me on Instagram, which is _success with Annette, and my website, which is thetaxexperience.com.
Okay. All right. So that's Instagram and Facebook. Are you on LinkedIn as well?
Yes, I am on LinkedIn. I need to update it, but it is Annette Campbell on LinkedIn as
Okay.
well.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look you up. I don't know if we're connected on there. Are you on Clubhouse?
Yes, I am. It is, what is my name on there? I think it's my first name, Annette Campbell.
Okay.
I haven't been on Clubhouse in a while. Tax season took me away from everything.
Oh yeah, that's right. You so busy.
But I love Clubhouse because just real quick, if I have a quick second, after that, when I told you guys about when I ran into that multimillionaire, and the next day I actually got on Clubhouse, and my friend pinged me into a group that said the devil had a plot, but God had a plan. And I said I had to tell my testimony. And let me tell you, when I told my testimony of the same exact testimony that I just told you guys, I told it on Clubhouse, and I was in the group for about 45 minutes, and everybody was telling their testimonies. But when it got to me, the pastor started prophesying over my life. He said, "Let me tell you, God just delivered this message to me. I need to tell you that you are walking into a season of abundance. You have a lot of work to do." He's like, "You're going to help a lot of people financially." It's like, you think it's just going to be taxes? No, it's going to be more. You're going to be a speaker. So this is just, it's alignment. It's literally alignment. He's like, you're going to be on stage just telling your story to millions of people. He's like, God is about to bless you. He's about to do a whole total 360 in your life. So it's just amazing things happen when you walk in purpose and you give faith and you give it all you got. So I hope whoever watches the replay, who just caught this message, give it all you got. You only have one life. Your dreams matter and they are possible. Work hard, stay connected to the right people, and just never give up.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Miss Annette, for coming on the show.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I'll definitely be reaching out to you in the future for some additional collaborations. Look, the brain is going, it's churning. I don't know just yet what, but I'll definitely be reaching out to you again. So, ladies, wasn't that awesome? Oh my God, that was this is an awesome show. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, if you caught us in the middle, go back, watch it again, or if you missed it, go ahead and catch the replay. So let me go ahead and close this out. So A Queen's Roundtable Show is every second and fourth Sunday of the month. Although I'm going to be adding additional shows, so be looking out for the advertisement. But for right now, it's every second and fourth Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream live and bring on a different entrepreneur, and we have a candid conversation about entrepreneurship that will leave you with different tools, techniques that you will need or be able to use to level up your business. I am your host, Jacqueline Cabot Harrison, and I'm also your host for A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, which is actually going on right now. We got one more week this upcoming Saturday, so join us for that. Or I'm sorry, this upcoming Friday and Saturday. So, and I do that quarterly. So look out again for the speaker call, because the next one's going to be in September. So look out, look out, look out. So you can go ahead and get your application in as soon as possible. So thanks again for joining. Thank you for your ongoing support. And I look forward to seeing you all again at the next A Queen's Roundtable television show, which will be in June. I don't know the date right off the top of my head, but it'll be the second week in June. So join us then. All right, thanks again. And also go ahead and make sure that you connect with Annette, as well as if you have any questions or comments at whatever time you're watching the replay, please leave your comments and Annette will definitely answer them for you. All right, so thanks again, ladies. And until next time, everyone take care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon.